200 new laws went into effect in Florida this weekend, courtesy of Governor Ron DeSantis and his cabal of Republicans. And some of these policies are the most extreme and draconian yet. In an expansion for gun rights, Floridians will no longer need to train or have a permit to carry concealed firearms, despite the policy being wildly unpopular in the state. In an attack on LGBTQ+ rights, DeSantis' Don't Say Gay law now expands to restrict classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity for all grades. And in the relentless war on women, abortion is now banned after 6 weeks of pregnancy. And in one of the most overtly cruel laws on immigration, private companies with 25 or more employees must now use the federal E-Verify system to check the immigration status of new workers or face severe penalties. Undocumented migrants have already begun to flee the state out of fear, which could have a devastating impact on not only Florida's broader economy, but the economy at large. Joining me now is Nikki Fried, chair of the Florida's Democratic Party and the former Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Florida. Nikki, it's always so good to have you on the show. Let's start with these new anti-immigration laws. You know, they have implications beyond just individual cases. Experts told one of our NBC reporters that workers without legal status make up about 40% or more of the agricultural industry in Florida. It's an area you obviously know well. You were the Secretary of Agriculture for that state. How will this new DeSantis law impact the industry and the state's overall economic health?
Yeah, well, first of all, Katie, thanks for having me on this morning. The implications of this new law is so drastic on Florida's economy. Florida's economy is really based on three industries: construction, agriculture, and of course, tourism. And all three of those depend so heavily on our migrant population. And so now we are seeing just fields of crops not going to be having workers on there for both not only planting, but also harvesting. And so what this is going to do when you don't have workers who are not going to come back here to the state of Florida, not only you're going to have agricultural commodities increasing in cost, not just here for the state, but we feed 150 million people across the entire United States, exporting to 37 different countries, $137 billion economic impact for the state of Florida. And so when their workers go away, not only are you going to not have food, but the drastic impact it's going to have on the actual cost of these commodities. And then you go to construction. You're already seeing all these construction sites not having workers, which is going to slow down the already very high demand housing market here in the state of Florida. So you're going to also see the increases. So not only are you impacting families, you're impacting the workforce. This is going to have a drastic impact on the economy of our state and a ripple impact to the rest of the nation.
Nikki, these immigration laws, they were intended to instill fear, but some good news. Despite Ron DeSantis' grand plans, Floridians across the state yesterday came out to protest against them. But considering the DeSantis slate of hate, what do you say to those who believe Florida has rolled up its welcome mat?
Unfortunately, they have. And I say they because the Democrats during this entire legislative session were fighting back these horrific laws. But unfortunately, this legislative session was the most anti-worker, anti-female, basically every community that is marginalized, anti-freedom, anti-democracy. So unfortunately, you're seeing the impacts on people's everyday lives. So let's take an example. You have one family unit that has maybe dad is undocumented, but mom is documented and children were born here. Now the entire family unit is having to lift up and move outside the state of Florida. And the other part of this law that most people aren't even understanding is that if you go into a doctor's office or into a hospital, if you don't speak perfect English, they're going to ask you for your papers. And so already the racial profiling, and you're going to have such an impact on our healthcare system. And so, no, the welcome mat here has been lifted, and people are thinking that it's only affecting the Texas border. Unfortunately, the workforce here, the people that make up the vibrant culture of our state are going to be drastically impacted.
Let's switch gears to permitless carry. As somebody who lives in Florida, who has an 8-year-old, who has a family in the state of Florida, it gives me serious cause for pause and fear. This law went into effect July 1st, despite an increase in mass shootings and gun violence across the U.S., including this morning's breaking news, Nikki, that we started our show with out of Baltimore, with at least 30 victims, 2 of which are dead. How is this law going to make Floridians less safe?
You know, as the past commissioner, I oversaw this program, and I know within the last year of my administration, we turned away thousands of individuals who had not passed the background check. All of those individuals would now be allowed to carry permitless here in the state of Florida with no training. In addition, I was able to suspend some of the January 6 individuals, some of their licenses. Those individuals would now have been allowed to carry here in the state of Florida. 71% of Floridians did not agree with this piece of legislation. So now you have a state where people can go, either have bought their guns on the black market, maybe have gone someplace else for open carry areas, other permitless carry states. And so now you have a lot more population who are carrying firearms that haven't gone through the requisite background check, haven't gone through the training necessary. And unfortunately, we are seeing an uptick in gun violence all across the state. And then the audacity of Ron DeSantis, he vetoed $5 million that was supposed to be brought into our state to prevent gun violence into our communities. So instead of trying to promote safety in our streets, safety in our communities, he has done just the opposite and has now not, no pun intended, armed the people of our state with the resources to make sure their communities are more safe.
I got about 30 seconds left. I want to know, you're the new chair of the Florida Dems. What is the Democratic Party doing in a state like Florida, which I know we say it's red, but I do think that maybe it's purple, optimistically. But what are the Florida Dems doing to be able to push back against this tide of the slate of hate?
These issues aren't just Democratic issues. So what we are doing is we are organizing. We're speaking out, we're fighting back, and we're forming an army, both from Democrats, nonpartisan voters, and even Republicans who feel that they've lost their party, that their party has left them behind with these draconian laws. So we are organizing, we are standing up, we are fighting back, and we know that 24 is going to be a test of where we are today, but most importantly is going to be a true test for democracy and freedom here in the state of Florida.